So that was really cool to see the first half of your list. A lot of those were pretty pretty heavy. Like you chose some really really heavy some heavy films.
I did.
But
I'm in a dark place in my brain.
I don't think
No, I'm
you
not. No,
are.
I'm not.
That's not true at all.
No, I just know. I just said it off camera or whatever, off recording, that I think these emotional movies hold the most weight, and I firmly believe that. I think movies that have substance in the emotional capacity and also stakes, life and death.
Yeah.
You know, I think those
You like something where the stakes are high.
those stand the test of time
Mm.
more than anything else.
I think that that's important for us to bring up what our film preferences are. I kind of brought that up on the first half of this list. As like you have said it perfectly that my favorite genre of film is nervous people being nervous, preferably in New York City.
Sure.
Like you like you hit the nail on the head. And
Yeah.
like that's the first time that I've been able to say it without just like cackling.
It's
Because
hilarious.
it's true. It's really true.
We all like what we like.
I think that from the first part of your list, because it's hard to put a pin on what you like because you just watch so many movies. I think that you like something that's going to sit on your emotions and force you to feel something. Like it can't just be something like fun. Like you need something that has a deeper pull to that.
Yeah, I think my biggest thing is when I watch something like a comedy.
Uh-huh.
I can watch a comedy and enjoy comedy.
Mm-hmm.
But for the most part, that is a temporary enjoyment.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like eating a giant pizza. You know? At first, it's the most amazing thing ever.
Mm-hmm.
But then it kind of sits on you, and then... You know, that was a bad analogy. That was a terrible analogy. I think what I want to say is that I can watch a comedy, I can watch a happy movie,
Mm-hmm.
but I won't ponder on it
Mm-hmm.
after.
You need something that's gonna
Yeah, I like
that you
something
can,
that's
like,
challenging.
keep churning.
Yeah, I like something that turns the wheels,
Mm.
for sure.
Okay.
That keeps the gears going.
Cool.
You know, I don't like being pandered to.
Mm-hmm.
Also, I don't
That's
want
fair.
something everything explained to me.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's just annoying.
The exception is The Big Short.
Yes.
You actually need an impact.
Yes, that is so true. I'm such a hypocrite, but that's
No.
okay. The stock market's confusing. I don't care what anyone says.
You didn't hear me disagree. Before we get into your top movies of the decade, I prepared a list of my own
I'm excited.
for the worst movies of the decade.
Yes.
I don't think any of these are like I don't think anyone is going to disagree. You know,
Yeah, you're not
Um,
won't be
I'm not the first person to say these.
okay.
So just keep that in mind.
We're ready. I'm ready.
So the first one on my list is The Amazing Spider-Man 1 and 2
Terrible.
from 2012 and 2014.
Yeah, I briefly mentioned that when we were talking about Under the Silver Lake.
Uh-huh.
That is just
Yeah.
just not good.
Yeah, it's not great.
good. Cite Ralph the Movie Maker's YouTube videos for that. This YouTube.
Yeah.
This is not sponsored by Ralph the Movie Maker,
No, he
but
doesn't want to hang out with us.
his videos are fantastic about him because they really shows the shit show for what
Yeah.
they are.
Yeah. So not good. Again, everyone agrees. This is gonna. I think this might invoke some feels for you.
You're gonna rock the boat.
Don John from 2013. Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
Yeah, that.
ScarJo.
Yeah, and Julianne Moore.
Yes.
It's my girl.
Yeah.
Maybe more than ScarJo. I love me some Julianne Moore.
Whoa. All right.
Yeah, that wasn't for me. I think that was an ambitious type movie. I also think Joseph Gordon-Levitt's. I think he wrote and directed that.
Yeah.
And you know,
Do you think that can't? Have we seen him since then?
I
Have
don't
we seen him
know.
since 2013?
That's what I'm saying.
Is that what made him fall off? It wasn't the birth of his children. It was.
It was like, okay, I peaked. I peaked by,
Well,
having
know.
so many scenes,
Right.
make out love scenes with ScarJo. Where
Yeah.
can I possibly go from here?
Right.
Like, but
Right. I don't know. That one just wasn't for me.
wasn't not down with the porn addiction.
Yeah, and like what you were saying before that you don't like movies where you can't find someone to root for.
Yes, I think
everyone
that's big
in
for
that
me.
movie was like,
Didn't like him.
pass.
Yeah.
Yeah, wasn't huge on that.
Yeah, that was a one-off for me. I saw it.
Mhm.
Nah.
Yeah,
I forgettable.
it ain't it, sis. It ain't it. Cats, the 2019 classic, is on my list. I haven't seen it. I haven't seen it. I know it's on my list.
I can't wait to see it.
Because I know you're going to love it.
I can't wait.
I almost guarantee that you're going to love this movie. Just from an editor's standpoint. Like the fact, here's the thing that I have an issue with. The movie studio has already said that they're going to re-release it with the CGI properly rendered.
Yeah.
So there's issues with
I think it's
editing.
happened already.
Has it?
Yeah.
Okay. So like the fact that that was an issue,
Yeah.
what are you doing? This movie was not done.
Yes.
This movie was not complete, and you just pushed it along, and that's just not acceptable.
It's a giant problem, I think,
Yes.
with money and studios.
Yes.
Money.
Mm-hmm. Next, I have any Disney live-action remake.
Yes.
Just
I sort of
why?
agree.
It's just I have nothing more to say than that.
I have something to say.
Okay.
And it's been said on, a few other things I've listened to. And I'm probably stealing this idea, but I wholeheartedly agree with it. That you have this computer generated capabilities, and you're live rendering animals. I'm more specifically talking about the Lion King here.
Mm-hmm.
You're live rendering animals to appear to be alive. The real deal.
Yeah.
Real live lions, real live warthogs,
Mm-hmm.
what have you. But they have no emotion.
Yeah.
They have no acting.
Mm-hmm.
But you can make them
can
better.
do it,
yeah. You have the technology to have so much imagination.
Yeah.
And you're limiting that.
Right.
So
Like,
they
how
can
about
appear
you?
real?
Yeah.
Why?
Embrace the personification.
Embrace the wackiness of The Lion King. The Lion King is a wacky movie.
Mm-hmm.
Let's give these lions some eyebrows. Let's get these lions acting. Let's do it.
I want them to have like Rottweiler eyebrows.
Yes.
Just like
They should have something. I'm not
yeah.
even going into the. Okay. Moving on. Whenever you're ready.
Next one is Alice Through the Looking Glass.
Alice Through the Looking Glass.
Yeah.
Yeah.
From 2016.
Yeah.
This was a Tim Burton film without Tim Burton, and you can tell.
Oh.
He stepped away from this.
Did he?
He did Alice.
He did Alice.
He set up the world.
I remember seeing Alice.
He stepped away for Through the Looking Glass, and you can tell.
I really thought he did it again because it looked.
Well, they kept his sets.
Yeah.
Like they kept his. It's the same world, right? Like he built this world. It's
Yeah.
a Tim Burton world without Tim Burton. And when you watch the movie, you're like, something here is lacking, and that's.
Is it
what
Tim
it was.
Burton?
What?
Is it Tim Burton? Do you
Yeah,
think?
I 100% think it's Tim Burton.
Let me ask you. So you're a Tim Burton fan?
I appreciate the worlds that he can create
That's fair.
and the like I appreciate the worlds that he creates and
That's
the
fair.
characters that
Yeah. No,
he
if
can put in them.
if you could say one thing about Tim Burton, you could say that his characters and his his vision is there.
Mm-hmm.
You know a Tim Burton movie
Right.
almost every time you see
Mhm.
one.
Yeah, I agree.
So
The next two, I'm just going to run through real quick. We don't need to talk about it. Velvet Buzzsaw from 2019
I haven't seen it.
and Cabin Fever from 2016.
Tasteless remake.
Yeah, was not pleased.
Even though Eli Roth did the original, but I will say, the original Cabin Fever had some charm.
Yeah.
Some gory charm
Mm-hmm.
and some schlock.
Mm.
But it's decent. It's a decent enough campy, no pun intended, horror film.
See what you did there.
Yeah.
Next on my list is Dirty Grandpa from 2016.
Yeah, I skipped this.
Yeah, it's not good.
This is
not
why I
good.
skip most comedies because I see, I see these movies and I see the trailers.
Mhm.
I think if anything, this trailer made me want to not see this movie.
Yeah. I didn't know anything about it. I didn't want to watch this movie, it was just playing at a person's house that I went over.
Oh,
and
no.
so like I couldn't be like, hey, your taste in movies sucks, I'm gonna leave.
You should.
I should.
We
but I
should
didn't
say this to
because
people.
I was trying to be polite. Was not good.
You're a better person than I am.
I don't know if that's true. Next one, Passion Play. You bought this.
Yes.
after I
Oh,
told you that
yes.
I hated this movie.
Yes. Megan Fox.
Megan Fox, Bill Murray.
I love me, Bill Murray.
Mickey Rourke.
Mickey Rourke.
Mm.
What are you doing, Mickey Rourke? You had a second chance,
Yeah.
and you squandered it.
Could have been a contender.
Yes.
Yeah, it was not great. But like I thought the idea was really interesting. Like, oh wow, angels exist on Earth, but like they're part of like this weird freak show, and Bill Murray's a gangster. I don't know.
Yeah, I can't wait to watch this as well.
I'll do 3 more, and then I'll be done with my worst for the decade. And these ones are not like everyone agrees. Like these are universally bad movies.
Great.
Movie 43 from 2013.
Yeah, people hate this movie.
Which is so unfortunate. The reason why it's so high on my list is because I think that the idea is so interesting. So like take all these little subplots, like all these kind of sketches to a point.
It's like an anthology comedy film.
And make it a movie.
It's so
But,
tasteless.
yeah, it was not good.
It's just tasteless.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like the potential with that idea was really cool.
And you got a lot of star power in this.
Yeah.
You know, I think of off the top of my head, Halle Berry's in this.
Mm-hmm.
Kate Winslet.
I think so.
Hugh Jackman.
Yeah, Hugh Jackman was.
Yeah.
A
lot of star power. Dennis Quaid. Chris Pratt now.
Uh-huh.
You know, he's a big star in his own right.
He wasn't at the time, but
no, yeah.
Yeah, Emma Stone was in it as well.
Yeah.
Richard Gere was in it. It's just
the
really
the other Culkin.
Yeah, there's another Culkin in there somewhere. Yeah, it's just
Emma Stone I think was coming off of Superbad.
Is in it. Yeah, like it's
so much star power.
Yeah.
And so little done.
Yeah.
Chloe Grace Moretz, I think, is also in this, off the top of my head.
That sounds right. Seth MacFarlane is in it.
Oh, man.
There's just like big names. Naomi Watts, like, and you could tell that when you watch this, that there were like actors that were in this not because they wanted to be, but because like you had to do this in order to be in something else.
Yeah, I believe that's like the urban legend behind it.
Yeah.
Is that the makers of this movie, I don't want to say blackmailed, but it that's kind of like the thing behind it. It seems like they were forced to be in this travesty of a comedy.
Yeah, which is a bummer.
It is a bummer.
Next one on my list really would be number 1, but I have a reason for the first one. The Last Airbender. I love Avatar: The Last Airbender, the anime series, the cartoon series.
Mm-hmm.
It really is an anime. It was what's it called? Drawn, animated.
Yeah.
It was animated
No, you're fine.
in Korea.
Okay.
Yeah. I love that series. I grew up with that series. It has such a big impact on me. The movie remake should not be a thing.
Yeah, they really pooped on it, didn't they?
It just made me real sad.
Yeah.
It made me so sad.
Me and Dragon Ball Evolution as well, so I feel your pain.
Yeah, see, so like kind of
I do.
on that level.
I feel it.
And then the last one, I initially had any Adam Sandler comedy of the last 10 years, but I was able to narrow it down to Jack and Jill from 2011. I think when I watched this movie, do you remember Norbit?
Yes, terrible.
I don't think that was within the last decade, but I think what
couldn't tell you.
happened was Adam Sandler watched Norbit and was like, I can do that. I can do that thing.
Hibbity-doobity-doo.
Yeah, like that's exactly.
Happy humor.
Yeah. I respect Adam Sandler because in all of the shitty movies that he's made, he brought his friends along, right? So he's like, oh, I'll make this shitty movie so that my friends could get a paycheck because Rob Schneider's not in anything anymore. Like, I appreciate that for him, but, like, the cat's out of the bag now because he was in Uncut Gems and killed it. he was so good. What were you doing, bud? What were you doing? Anyway.
His own thing. I don't know. That's a mystery. I really do.
It was Adam Sandler being Adam Sandler, you know?
It really...
Well, he did an interview with Conan, and I have a feeling that I'm just going to guess that Uncut Gems is on your list.
I'm not saying.
Fine. Then we'll talk about it once we get to it. But there's an interview that he did with Conan explaining, like, how he got that role.
Yeah.
And I think that says a lot about his worst films.
Yeah.
So, anyway, those were my worst. I feel like I talked a whole lot.
That was great. I love to hear your voice. It's fantastic.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah, so there we go.
But, so, those were the worst movies of the decade, in my opinion. In my humble opinion.
Can I add one?
Yeah.
Worst movies of the decade?
Yeah.
Gravity.
Oh, yeah, you hate Gravity.
Gravity.
You're not really into Sandy.
Mark it down.
Sandy ain't in your thing. I mean, I feel like those are big fighting words, because, like, didn't it win some awards? Some big awards?
Yeah, it did. I don't want to talk about it.
Okay, you know.
The Academy of Schlock.
Fair enough. Let's get your top
We ready?
25.
You ready? It's exciting.
I'm ready for it.
Number 24.
Yes.
Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, directed by Quentin Tarantino. I think his most mature film.
Yeah.
I think is, I don't want to say his masterpiece, but I think this is one that's going to stand the test of time. And I think the performances are great. I think the script is great. I think it's not subversive. Maybe it's subversive. It subverted my expectations in the sense that I walked in expecting to see a Quentin Tarantino movie. And what I got was a Tarantino movie that was not quite.
With less feet close-ups.
No, I'm not going to say that. Because there's some feet in there. That's his thing. But, yeah, I think... Because I'm just gonna say you're not a Tarantino fan for your own reasons, and that's fine. But
do you think I would like this movie?
I think you would enjoy this more than most.
Okay.
I do, and I really want you. I'm really excited for you to watch it.
Then I will watch that. Then that's true. Like, I don't know. Come at me. I don't like Tarantino movies.
That's fine. Maybe if we get a following, the comment section will disagree, but whatever. This is our third upload or whatever.
Come at me. Like,
come at her.
Totally fine.
She says, "Bring it." Number 23, The Raid.
Okay.
The Raid Redemption. And I'm gonna include The Raid 2 because I think as far as
hand in hand.
action movies, kung fu movies, these are top notch.
Okay.
You know, not my favorite for the entire history of action kung fu movies, but it is just amazing what these guys do, what these guys did, and it's just incredible. I really do. I believe that. Number 22, Good Time.
Okay.
The Safdie brothers.
Okay.
You know, Robert Pattinson, bringing him in. I feel like these guys are taking, Robert Pattinson. He's coming off Twilight. He's coming off, that vibe. And I think, if anything, if nothing else, this one kind of reintroduced him as that he could be a serious actor and that he could take some serious roles and be taken seriously. I said serious a lot, but whatever.
But it's,
But
a serious good time. This
movie is... It's one that I really want to rewatch very soon, especially after seeing Uncut Gems. It's a wild ride, for sure. And I don't think there's too many other films like it that are done outside of their movies.
The light work in this was pretty insane.
Yeah, it looked great. Yeah, right.
Like, that's, if I remember from...
Yeah, it's very chaotic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's kind of... You kind of vibe with that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it speaks a lot with how it looks. 21, Blade Runner 2049.
Whoa!
Yeah, I
really?
think this is maybe one of my favorite sequels of all time. Beautiful. Roger Deakins, I think, finally got his Oscar for this, for cinematography. Pretty sure. I could be wrong.
I'll look it up for you.
Ryan Gosling, my boy, coming in strong. And Denis Villeneuve, man, I can't wait to see Dune. I'm not sure, how familiar you are, but you know,
With Dune?
with Dune. Yeah, with Dune.
Yeah, I've seen the original Dune. I didn't know it was being remade.
Oh yeah, Denis Villeneuve.
Okay.
He's the guy. I think he's the
Okay.
guy who's going to do it right. I think he's going to do good. But Blade Runner 2049, I think one of the more disappointing aspects of it has nothing to do with the movie. It's the marketing. That they didn't even want Harrison Ford to be involved in the marketing.
Really?
Yeah, and that
What a choice.
his, even if you watch the movie, like his entrance into the movie seems so out of place.
Uh-huh.
And that I think going in with not knowing he was going to be in, to see him in it would have been amazing. But the marketing fucked that up. So what are you going to do?
Okay. This was his first win for cinematography.
That's amazing. In the worst way.
Right.
Because he's been killing it forever.
Right. You love Roger Deakins.
I love
Is he your favorite?
I mean, yeah. I would think. I think the cinematographer for a lot of Spielberg movies, I think, has his own style. But I think Deakins just his body of work speaks for itself. He just, you know. Number 20. Are you ready? Are we ready to move on?
Yeah.
Okay. Number 20. Birdman.
Oh.
And this has a longer title, but I can't remember. But I'm just gonna call it Birdman.
The unexpected virtue of ignorance.
Yes. This one got me. The first time I watched this maybe more than any other movie, you know, especially within the last like 5 years, I think it came out, really got me sitting up and say, okay, movies can be like really artful. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And this just, the shots are beautiful, the editing is beautiful, the long takes.
Yeah.
Or it appears like it's a one take.
Yeah.
It's a one take film. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Michael Keaton, Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
Pittsburgh boy. It's our boy.
Kiki.
Yeah, I think he kills it. Emma Stone does great. Edward Norton, I thought it was really good too.
Yeah. I think when you talked about Under the Silver Lake, how this was like, that was Andrew Garfield's like response to the Amazing Spider-Man. Like I think that had like the same lead actor inspiration.
Right.
You know, like
Batman.
Michael Keaton came from the same place.
Right. I love that connection.
Yeah.
Even if it's off, it's under the surface. You know what I mean? Like, here's Michael Keaton, big on Batman. The parallels between Michael Keaton and the character are there.
Right.
For sure. And whether that was intentional, whether he wrote this script for Michael Keaton or if it just serendipity worked it out that way, I don't know.
Yeah,
But I think this is a once in a lifetime, once in a generation movie, and I think it's definitely worth all the praise it's got.
Absolutely incredible. And Emma Stone in this?
Yeah. Oh yeah, she, like, you know, her genuine. When I think of roles, I think of her role in this was very genuine. When
I think of Emma Stone, I don't think of her in Superbad. I don't think of her in Easy A. I think of her in Birdman.
Yeah.
With like her massive, like half her face eyes. Like,
yes, they were popping.
Yeah.
Popping out of her face,
yeah,
for
absolutely
sure.
Incredible. Yes. Anyway, good choice.
19. Train to Busan.
Busan Hang.
Being from Western Pennsylvania.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Yes.
I'll say we.
Oh, you can say
we grew up in the zombie culture. Okay.
We sure did.
I think it's ingrained.
Yes.
In our DNA, whether we like it or not, whether you like zombie films or not.
Absolutely.
Train to Busan reignited my love for zombie movies.
Right?
You know?
Yes.
I think it took it in a direction that it needed to go. Serious, heartfelt story and characters, but relentless. Relentless pace, relentless editing.
Like a train.
Yes, exactly.
Like a bullet train.
Yeah. Relentless, pacing. Just nonstop. You know, you're on the edge of your seat. You're watching this thing. It's amazing. Yeah. I think it really hooked me. Absolutely. So I loved it.
Really, really good.
18. Black Swan.
Really?
Natalie Portman's best role so far.
Wow.
I think she killed it. I think Darren Aronofsky told a brilliant story. on camera.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, just haunting, just creepy. I don't even know if it's a horror film.
I think it's elevated horror.
Yeah, see, I have a hard time calling it a horror film, but it has horrific moments. Almost like
Mm-hmm.
it kind of reminded me of Jacob's Ladder in the
Okay.
sense that it has these disturbing images
Mm-hmm.
and
Well, even when you open, right, like the opening of the movie, right, is her stretching
hmm
and getting ready, and you see that a point ballerina's feet are gnarly,
yeah,
gnarly,
hmm
but like that's accurate,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
it's incredible of seeing that polarization and like the dichotomy between what is we perceive to be beautiful, right? Like, can you think of something more beautiful and graceful than a ballerina, and just like this horrific underbelly?
yeah, yeah.
Absolutely
That's an
incredible.
excellent way to put it for sure.
Mm.
So thank you for putting those beautiful words on it. Number 17, The Witch, and I didn't say The Vitch.
The beach.
The Witch,
The
Robert
Witch.
Eggers' first film.
Would you like to live life deliciously?
Oh man, look, this one is scary. This of any other movie on this list, horror film on this list,
Yeah.
I think is terrifying. And you put yourself in it. You put yourself in the 15th, 16th century, middle of the woods.
Yeah.
Ah,
Well, and even like,
superstition,
mm-hmm.
whatever. It's haunting and it's just completely terrifying. Black Phillip, best character in the movie.
But like for real, though.
For real, though.
You're gonna buy me a baby goat, right?
What's that?
You're gonna buy me a baby goat, right?
Yeah, no,
Name
Black
it Phillip.
Phillip for sure.
But yeah, like did you feel like the feminist like undertone to it with like I don't remember the main character's name, like the oldest daughter.
Oh,
like kind of just like coming to her own power, or did you not?
I
feel
can't remember
that
her
way?
name. Yeah, I did. I think that it was her dealing with what was going on and not so much taking responsibility for it, but kind of grabbing the situation by the horns, even though she probably has no idea what the hell's going on. But
Figuring out as she goes.
yeah, right. Yeah.
This is the movie that we reconnected because of.
Yeah,
Which
for
is
sure.
rad.
Yeah, absolutely.
Cool.
You ready?
Yeah.
Number 16, Climax.
Okay.
Gaspar Noé.
We need to tell this story. Can we tell this story?
Yeah, sure.
The first time that like we hung out in a not public place, you put this on, was like, we're gonna sit through this.
Yeah.
And did not tell me anything. You did not tell me what it was about. You did not tell me how long it was. You were like, we're just gonna sit through and watch this. And it was like a test. Like, you gave me a test.
I did. I was seeing if you were ready. You talked mad game about your film.
What did you think?
What do you think? Because we watched it.
I thought it was visually stunning.
Yeah.
I was worried that I was gonna have a seizure every now and then.
Yeah.
Heartbreaking. Absolutely heartbreaking.
Yeah.
Full of twists.
Literally camera movement twists. I think
Yeah.
the camera, as much as anything else I can say about this movie, the camera movement in this movie is fantastic.
The camera was also a dancer.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That's what was so incredible.
It told its own dance for sure, and it seemed I couldn't see the cuts. You know and even if you when I watched the movie looking for the cuts, I couldn't find them. Because I was so just entranced, not even that, but just entranced with what was being shown to me visually. I completely lost myself in it. Because it's so terrifying in its own way. And it tells a perspective of being on drugs, being on psychedelic drugs in such a different way, where you don't see the fades or the blending of the colors or anything like that. You see the reactions of the people.
Right.
It was, yeah.
The camera, right, is like another dancer that's there.
Yes.
Like the sober sister.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
Sober straight edge sister.
Yeah.
That's just hanging out and is just like watching this shit show unfold around them. Because usually when you see like a psychedelic movie, there's like color overlays, like wow, and like hippie music and like look at everything.
Especially psychedelics.
Right. But we're seeing it from a perspective of someone watching you be high.
Right.
Which is in and of itself like, listen, Dare, we're not sponsored by Dare, but maybe show this movie
Right.
to all your fifth
I
graders
always thought
and they'll never do drugs again.
This is a great anti-drug movie. I
Yeah.
completely agree. Anything to add?
No, I'm really glad this is on your list.
Awesome. Number 15, Nightcrawler. Yeah.
Okay.
My favorite Jake Gyllenhaal role, I would say. Yeah. This one had me gripped from the beginning, and it watched this process of this guy going from, nobody, clawing his way, to his goal, and just being ruthless and being just pretty downright, nonstop. You know what I mean? Like nothing. He had his goal, and he said it, and the way he did it, and the way the story unfolded, completely captivated me. So I was all about it, and I think this one will stick around, even though his second movie on your list of worst films, Velvet Buzzsaw, which I haven't seen, apparently didn't do too good, or apparently wasn't too good. But Nightcrawler is great. And have you seen it?
No.
Oh, you should watch it.
What's the list?
Yeah.
I want so badly to love Jake Gyllenhaal. Like, I want to love everything he's in.
Shots fired.
Because, well, no.
Oh, okay.
Like,
I thought this was going somewhere else.
No. Like, just growing up, like, I'm an emo kid from the early 2000s. Like, Donnie Darko was my shit.
Oh.
So, I want him to succeed. Like, I want him...
He carried that movie.
It was his movie. He should have carried that movie.
He did.
And he did well.
Mm-hmm.
I want him to see that success in a mainstream.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
I think he's there.
You think so?
I think so, yeah. I think he's a household name. He's a heartthrob still.
He's a heartthrob, but, like, do you know him from his movies? Or do you just know him as, like, oh, Jake Gyllenhaal?
I do lately.
Okay.
Prisoners and this movie especially.
Okay.
Yeah, he's got some chops, for sure. I'll definitely give him that.
And a Pittsburgh tattoo.
Does he really? Western PA.
What up?
Pittsburgh, 412. Number 14, The Social Network.
Yeah.
How do you feel?
I think that needs to be on your list.
Okay.
And we've been really rough on Andrew Garfield. Kind of.
Why? What are you about to say?
I wanted I wanted to care about his character more.
Okay.
But the way that it was presented, the way that it was filmed, you know, or like, maybe not even that, maybe the way it was edited, I wasn't on his side.
Yeah.
Did you feel that way?
I really liked Andrew Garfield's character. I hated Jesse Eisenberg. I hated Mark Zuckerberg.
Okay.
I was definitely on Andrew Garfield's side.
What year did that come out?
Yeah, I don't know.
Because I think that has a big, weight to it. 2010. Okay, so like in my defense, I was about to go into undergrad, was feeling pretentious as fuck. I was like, I totally understand what Jesse Eisenberg's coming from. Here. I haven't watched it recently.
Yeah.
I would be really, really interested, given the Facebook evolution as of late, to see what the deal is.
Yeah, I think
see if it holds up.
If any other movie on this list, I think this one holds the most weight in our society now, because Facebook has become such a huge conglomerate, and it affects elections now. It everyone's on Facebook,
right?
And this one kind of told the tale of that,
of how it came to be.
Yeah. And I think Jesse Eisenberg did an excellent job. I think Andrew Garfield did a great job. I think David Fincher told an amazing story, visually. And Trent Reznor.
I love Trent Reznor.
Yeah.
Like,
doing scores for
the alternative Hans Zimmer.
Right, yeah. Like a more industrial, dirty
but like,
Hans Zimmer.
That's what this needed, right? Like it's a tech movie. And so it needed like a gritty, like tech music undertone to it.
Mm-hmm.
He got an Oscar for best score, right?
I don't know.
Let's
Look that up, Jamie.
Yeah.
Jamie, can you pull that up?
Let's see.
Not sponsored by JRE.
He won't hang out with us. Let's see. I'll look that up.
Ready to move on?
Yeah.
Number 13.
Are you gonna make my eyes roll? I have
don't
been
think.
this whole time. I've been waiting for my eyes to just roll in the back of my head. Best achievement in music written for a motion picture's original score went to Trent Reznor.
That's
and
amazing.
Atticus Ross
That's great.
for the Social Network. We
That's
can
great.
move on now.
Number 13, Parasite.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
I think if any other movie, this one is such a great movie to introduce to the American audiences that aren't familiar with foreign films. The story's so relatable, and it's so well done.
Mm-hmm.
And even in his acceptance speech, just get past that 1-inch space of subtitles in the bottom. I'm paraphrasing, but and you'll open up to a whole big world of foreign films that are amazing.
Gisenchang
Yes.
is the Korean name to it.
And I love the jingle. Can you repeat the jingle? This is so racist.
Jessica, Chicago. That is actually yeah. So
that's become like a big thing.
Yeah, so like the funny thing is that it's set to the tune of like, well, it's called
In This Land or in
trot. It's trot. So like Korean, like old school Korean music that like has its own underbelly is trot music. So like what you would think that your grandmother here, right, in America would listen to, like the equivalent over there is called trot music.
Okay.
So they took like the classic trot song, the melody for that, and then like wrote that the memorizing of her story.
Yeah.
Super interesting.
Yeah.
I don't have that memorized.
That's okay.
But
yeah. Long story short, you don't. But that I love the movie. I think and it's still pretty fresh, but I didn't expect it to go where it went. And I'm really happy that it did because it told an amazing story. Yeah. And I think the performances were fantastic.
Absolutely stunning.
Yes.
And there is such a level of socioeconomic divide in there that I found to be so incredible. Like it felt like a PSA to like show.
Yeah, that was kind of like the underlying tale of the movie was class and social differences.
Yep, class divide.
Yep, absolutely. So number 13, Parasite. Ready? Number 12, The Favorite. I love this movie. I gave it 5 stars. I know I haven't given any ratings, but I gave this one 5 stars. Visually, I think it's amazing. Costume design is amazing. It's this throwback, monarchy. I can't even think of the years. Kings and queens, blah blah blah. Kind of like Barry Lyndon type, whatever. But the dialogue I thought was so funny. That's what really hooked me. They use this hilarious dialogue and they like throw insults at each other. There's this dance scene that's just over the top. Everything's so well lit. It seemed like really natural lighting, candle lit lighting.
Nice.
The story's amazing. Rachel Weisz and the woman who plays the queen, I think she won the Oscar that year.
She did. And I think her speech was hilarious.
I didn't see her speech.
I don't remember her.
But I think it was completely well deserved. Emma Stone did amazing. Rachel Weisz and the lead actress I thought were amazing. I thought they did great. And you haven't seen this, so I guess
I have not, but I wanted to see it.
Yeah.
I
couldn't wait for you. I'm sorry.
I know. I was real grumpy about it. Yeah. So I went and saw Parasite without you.
Oh. Yep. Okay. Ready?
Yes.
Number 11. The Lighthouse.
You were so excited about The Lighthouse. You
were
hyped for The Lighthouse.
Yes. Robert Eggers' second film. Willem Dafoe, Robert Pattinson, and that's it. And a lighthouse. And some gulls.
How incredible is that?
It's so good. It is so good. The aspect ratio is such a unique choice.
Really?
You know, and it looks like, you know, one of the early films.
Mm-hmm.
You know, one of the early films,
Mm-hmm.
and it seems like they do some of the same camera tricks.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and it gives that vibe. But once, you know, the madness starts, because this movie is just a descent into madness,
Mm-hmm.
if nothing else. It tells a tale, and what it is just a tour de force of brilliant dialogue and brilliant acting and
Right.
atmospheric. That's a great word, I think, to describe it.
Atmospheric.
Yeah. Number 10,
Yes.
Midsommar.
Ooh.
I love this
Mhm.
movie. It makes me so happy, even though it's a very dark movie.
It's
uh,
still visually stunning.
it's so beautiful, and I love the elevated horror once again.
Mm-hmm.
But it's set in this beautiful land, you know, in this beautiful landscape. But
It makes you want to get your passport, right?
it's a little bit. It makes me want to take a flight. But it's this ultimate breakup movie,
Mm-hmm.
and that's what it is at its core. It's a breakup movie, and it set out it wanted to do, and it set out what it did. And when I saw it, I'm happy that the audience that I was in there with got it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because I can see a lot of people thinking like,
You saw it in theater.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I can see a lot of people thinking this is goofy. You know,
Mm-hmm.
some of the parts are a little bit goofy, but that, I think, more than anything, made me experience the experience of the film was
Mm-hmm.
great the first time I saw it in theaters. And Florence Pugh, I think it's her last. How do you say your last name? When she cries, God damn it,
You cried too.
I don't cry, but I believe her.
Mm.
She cries with her whole body.
Yep.
She really gave it her all.
Yeah, sure does.
And I think, if anything else, she deserves a lot of recognition for that.
Did that come out last year? Or the year
2018, for sure.
2018.
No, that was 2019, early 2019.
Has it gotten any award buzz?
No,
Man, that's a
no,
bummer.
I know, and the Golden Globes totally botched it.
Mm.
Totally botched it, but
Bummer.
you know, being a horror fan, I deal with this. The horror community deals with this.
The horror community?
Yeah, the horror community deals with this.
Horror.
Horror. Moving on.
Yes.
Number 8. No, I'm sorry. Number 9. Uncut Gems.
Oh.
Now, this is where I said I want to take this list and look at it a year from now. Because I will say this one is very fresh in my brain.
Mm-hmm.
And when I finalized this list, this was even more fresh in my brain.
Yeah.
But this one had me on the edge of my seat. This was such an experience.
Mm-hmm.
Such an anxiety attack of a movie.
Yeah.
Adam Sandler kills it. Don't care what anyone says. Adam Sandler is amazing in this movie.
I knew, like, you didn't tell me that this was going to be high up on your list, but I was expecting this to be high up on your list. Because it is just, like, an anxiety attack.
Yeah.
Like, perpetuated.
Yeah.
I
was watching with my head in my hands.
Mm-hmm.
Just
Yeah.
in it. Just
Mm-hmm.
in it to win it. And I'll never forget the person sitting next to me. Because the theater was pretty tight. Younger kid, you know, I'm 29. He's probably 20, maybe even younger, 19.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't seem to be in it at all. But gosh darn it, when that hour plus moved on, or whenever we hit that hour plus mark,
Yeah.
he was in it. He was on the edge of his seat
Mm-hmm.
right with them. So it really hooked him.
Mm-hmm.
And I think this, it tells a story that is impossible to ignore.
Yeah.
But maybe it's not for everyone. I don't know.
So did you see the Conan interview?
I haven't, no.
Okay. So Adam Sandler has had the same manager for like forever. His
Mhm.
name's Sandy.
Yeah.
His manager passed on this movie twice before somehow the script directly got to Adam Sandler.
Wow. That's
so
amazing.
it's absolutely incredible.
And the
you know?
stars aligned.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
he took the role and
It's
may get him an Oscar. You never know. He's getting some buzz.
it is so nice to see him back on his game.
Yeah.
Um,
Last thing I could think of was Punch Drunk Love. His last like serious type role.
and he's so good at it. He's so good at it.
He is. I think he's an amazing
What has he
actor
been doing?
when he puts in the effort,
Right.
you know, or whenever he gets the right movie, whenever he gets the right script.
When he doesn't feel like he needs to help out everyone around him.
Yeah. Is that what it is? He's taking care of his boys?
I think that's what it is.
Yeah.
I think that's what it is.
Wow.
But I don't have any justification for that. But
Yeah.
it just seems that, like...
This podcast is not sponsored by Adam Sandler.
Yeah, no.
Or Adam Sandler's people.
Rob Schneider, don't come for us.
But we love you,
We're
Adam
onto
Sandler.
you. I'm onto your game, Rob Schneider.
Anything to add? Anything else to
No,
add?
I think
That was
that
great,
was-
because I would like to see this Conan interview. Number 8, Under the Skin. Yeah, I think, like, kind of like Arrival, this took the sci-fi genre and kind of flipped it on its head.
Okay.
You know, this is a very artistic movie. I can't say I've ever seen anything like it.
Okay.
It's the ambience, the ambient score behind underneath it, the underlying dread, you know, just the unknown. Nothing is explained, you know.
Yeah.
It's the opening is so, it's just sci-fi art house. It's just so odd.
I like
But
that.
it hooked me as soon as I
Okay.
watched it. And Scarlett Johansson, I think, does great.
I love Scarlett.
I do. I love her whenever she does things right. Not in Dawn John so much, but yeah. But I think this is.
Exception for her.
I think this is her best role so
Really?
far. I do.
Okay.
Yeah. And I think she tells a lot through her face, through her emotions that she portrays.
You really like people that just wear their emotions on their face.
Yeah, and it's not really like she does anything too, she doesn't have this breakdown scene or anything like that, but it's just her visual cues, I think, are there. They're very subtle, but I think they're there.
Okay.
So, I don't think you've seen this.
I did not.
Number 7, Mad Max.
Okay.
Was that an eye roll?
No, it was not an eye roll. Alright. Okay.
Mad Max Fury Road. I think this is a fantastic movie. I think the stunts are amazing. Visually, I think it looks amazing.
Yeah.
Tom Hardy doesn't give his full best effort, but Charlize Theron, I think, does.
Yeah, she got it.
Yeah. My biggest complaint is the other actresses in it. The wives weren't my favorite, but I think it's saved by beautiful cinematography, beautiful set
It was shot
design.
really well.
Yeah, for sure. The action set pieces were amazing.
Costuming. Rad.
Yeah, for sure. And pretty great story.
Yep.
Pretty good story. Number 6, The Master.
Okay.
Paul Thomas Anderson. Yeah. Joaquin Phoenix's best role. Joaquin Phoenix's best role. Spoiler alert: Joker is not on this list. We only have 5 more. It's not on here.
Man.
Yeah. It's gonna bug me. It's gonna kill me that I can't remember his name. Philip Seymour Hoffman might be the guy I miss the most in the acting community. I miss him so much, and I think in this movie he is amazing.
Okay.
He does such a good portrayal of this creepy cult, whatever he is. You know, this L. Ron Hubbard type. And visually, I think it looks great. I think Paul Thomas Anderson. This is probably my favorite film by him.
So before we get into your top 5, which have been very carefully curated, I know that these 5 aren't going to be on your list because I don't think you've seen some of them, or because you just have better taste in movies than I do.
Don't say that. Different taste. Don't say better.
Your tastes are more elevated.
See, that's why I like having you on here, because you're going to bring a different perspective. Where I
don't follow the A24.
Yeah. You,
pages.
You're. I don't want to sound a certain way, but maybe the more female perspective from a cinematic point of view.
Maybe, but also I'm.
Because you are, in fact.
Oh shit! Spoilers.
Spoiler alert.
I'll be a lady.
You a lady. You are.
No, I.
Maybe I was being presumptuous.
This is no. I'm for sure a female. It's not presumptuous.
Oh, I'm ruining it. I need to stop. I'm digging deeper.
No, I think that this is a very important hobby to you, and I am more of a passive. Like I'm more passive towards it, right? Like I will watch something if it's available. I guess I come at it from a different perspective. I'm not looking at it like, wow, this could be a movie of the year. I'm like, oh, like I still remember this movie sometime later.
Okay, that's fair.
So from that point, I'm going to do very quickly my top 5 that aren't on this list. There are some that are on your list that I would have chosen, but just to give even more is what I would do.
Great.
Okay, so number 5, Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse.
I love this.
2018.
I love this choice.
Were there any animated movies on your list?
No.
This one rocks.
Yeah,
it was
I
really,
think
really good.
I really wanted to put this at least on my honorable mentions, but I just made the decision not to.
Mm-hmm.
But that being said, it might be my favorite Spider-Man movie.
Yeah, it's really good, right?
Yeah.
And I saw that. I don't see superhero movies.
Mm-hmm.
I saw this one.
Yeah.
Because what's his name? He's Nick Miller.
Oh, I can't tell you.
Yeah, I don't
I'm
know
the worst. I'm the worst. Sometimes sometimes I'm good at it. Sometimes
someone's
I'm
like
not.
shouting at the screen right now.
Yeah.
So not only was it him, I think his name is Nick. But he's in it, and John
Nick Miller from New Girl, if anyone.
Yeah, Nick Miller from New Girl. Sorry.
Zoe Deschanel.
It's not Nick at all. It's Jake Johnson.
Yeah.
His name is Jake Johnson.
I think when I saw his name being Jake Johnson, I was like, oh, so it's Jack Johnson's
Nope.
actor brother.
Nope.
Banana
sure
Pancakes.
Is absolutely not.
Okay.
So Jake Johnson, but like
He plays a great Peter Parker voice actor.
he does. He's really good at voiceovers. But John Mulaney's in it.
Is he?
He's the pig.
That's
He's
amazing.
the
Spider Pig.
Yeah.
Spider Pig. Spider Pig. Okay.
What is that? Is that?
I think that's from Simpsons.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not on my list.
But it is Spider Pig.
Number 4, Silver Linings Playbook,
Great.
2012.
Yes.
It was very good.
Jennifer Lawrence.
yeah.
Coming in hot.
At her, I don't want to say at her peak, but like she did a few
I think before
David O. Russell movies that.
Winter's Bone, I think got her some cred.
Yeah.
And then I think this kind of shot her to the moon.
Yeah.
I think this one got her a lot of attention. I think well deserved. I think yeah, this is great. It's a great movie.
Set in Philly, you know, which is
Yeah, this is definitely. I mean, I've never really been to Philly, but I imagine this is a good Philadelphia
suburb.
movie. Maybe not as Philadelphia as, let's say, Rocky, but still,
Yeah.
I think it's pretty Philadelphia, if I would imagine.
Yeah. Number 3, The Big Sick, 2017.
I liked The Big Sick. I do. I think it was a nice take on. It had a nice mixture of comedy and pretty some serious tones.
Well, and it's based on like real events. Like so.
Yeah, that's right.
Actually, like how Kumail Nanjiani and Emily Gordon.
That's
met,
right. Yeah, I didn't know
which
that.
is incredible. We're not sponsored by the Indoor Kids, but I mean, we're definitely inspired by the Indoor Kids.
Well, I'm indoors a lot, so.
So if y'all want to come hang out, Kumail, I know you're working on your superhero bod, but like Emily, come hang out with us. It'll be a great time. We'll talk about cats or whatever.
I was very surprised when because I didn't learn that fact until I'm pretty sure the credits. Pretty sure the credits give you the scoop if you didn't already know.
Yeah.
So
so
I did
when you
like
see
The Big
that,
Sick.
It's just pretty incredible.
Yeah, I thought The Big Sick was great.
Number 2 is something that's a little controversial for you. Is Bridesmaids, 2011.
I liked Bridesmaids. It's easily one of my favorite comedies.
But you think that more serious films are more worthy of a best film?
Yeah, I do, and I stick to that.
I think that
Some of my favorite films are that is like kind of a comedy by numbers to me. Like that is kind of where the comedy film is now. That slapstick, type, super bad-esque.
But it's nice that it's
40-Year-Old Virgin-esque.
female strong.
Right. It is super female strong, and I
Yeah.
really appreciate that. I think Melissa McCarthy is absolutely hilarious in that.
Yeah.
Easily.
Well, and
one of the funniest roles I've ever seen by someone.
We love Kristen Wiig. Like, you and I, like, both separately.
Oh, how do I turn off these lamps?
Yeah, so many lamps. What can we say? Like, that's, like, the ball and chain will give it the one.
The ball
and
and the chain. Oh, this turned into an SNL
Yeah,
skit with
anyway.
Liza Minnelli.
Anyway, so, like, I just think there's so many, like, strong female leads in that you don't see often.
Who is the woman who... I remember the scene where they eat the Thai food.
I think it's Brazilian food.
Okay, yeah, they eat the foreign food.
Yes.
And the one woman is the only one who didn't eat it.
Mm-hmm.
And Kristen
Wiig
Wiig is just like trying to keep it together in
Mm-hmm.
front of her, and then she's just egging her on.
Yeah.
The other girl's egging her on, like, "Are you feeling okay?"
Yeah.
That is, I think, a kind of a genius moment in comedy.
Absolutely.
That really got me.
Yeah.
For sure. I thought that was hilarious.
It's rad. Yeah, I stand behind that as a pick.
No, I understand.
And my number one is also controversial, and I'm aware that it's controversial, and I do not give a fuck. Midnight in Paris, 2011.
Yes. Midnight in Paris. I have not seen this.
I know. I would be very interested. Like, I want to be there when you see it.
I'm excited. I'm excited to watch it.
I realize that Woody Allen is not the best human, but my aesthetic is nervous people being nervous, preferably in New York.
Or Paris, according to...
Or Paris. And like...
And who's in it?
Wow.
Wow.
Owen Wilson.
Owen Wilson, wow.
Wow.
Oh, that's the low-hanging fruit.
It sure is, but
Wow, what a choice.
Such a good movie. It's so good.
I'm excited to see it.
Like, I haven't seen a Woody Allen movie since.
I haven't seen a Woody Allen movie.
That's true, you haven't. Which is so bizarre for, like...
Yeah.
Because I've never seen a Star Wars movie. You've never seen a Woody Allen movie.
Mm-hmm.
Yours is a bet. Like,
It's
a little bit controversial.
It's a weird thing. Yeah. I never... Is Ants? Maybe I have. Is Ants a Woody Allen movie? But I know he's in it.
I don't...
Remember Ants? Ants was like the answer to A Bug's Life or vice versa.
Vice versa.
Yeah.
It was with a Z, right?
Yeah. Ants is like the Woody Allen movie, like, where instead of Woody Allen in New York, it's Woody Allen in an anthill.
So it was not directed by Woody Allen.
Then I have not seen
and
a Woody Allen
movie. It was
movie.
not written by Woody Allen. He was only a voice.
Okay. I'll tell you what, it's what I imagine every Woody Allen movie to be.
It's just ants.
It's just ants. Woody Allen being nervous. And dial. But hey, you know
nervous
what?
People being nervous.
I think we've talked about this off mic because this is only our first show.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't have a problem separating person from art.
You're a lot better at that than I am.
Yeah.
You're a lot better at that.
And I think I might be in the minority about this. That some people just see what someone did and they can't look past that. And I'm not saying Woody Allen's a good person. I'm not defending him.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just saying
I can see his art, and
yeah, I can look at something, a movie or a piece of music or something like that, and just look at that in a vacuum.
Yeah, I hear you.
So
I think you're right. I don't know. I think that's something that we could dive into more.
I don't think there's any right or wrong. I think it's just subjective. You know, it just depends on what you're feeling. I know how you're feeling about it. So yeah, a lot of those I haven't seen. Some of those I have seen. And I'm really happy you did put Into the Spider-Verse on there.
Yeah.
Because that was one, I just want to mention real quick, that was one where I didn't have a lot of high hopes for. And I was very surprised, and I was very satisfied when I watched it. So yeah. I'm really happy to get more of your input.
Yay!
How's that tea?
Oh, the tea was great. It was very hot.
Hot tea. Watch your tongue.
Hot tea.
Hot tea.
What's your top 5?
Ready for top 5?
I'm so ready for your top 5.
Top 5.
Your top 5.
Here we go. Number 5, Darren Aronofsky's Mother.
Okay, so before we dive into this, I think it's a great choice. I think it's cinematically stunning. I need you to know that when I watched Mother, it was right after it came out on theaters, and I watched the home screening version.
So
And the internet went out, or like it got taken down right at the last 10-minute mark.
right.
And I've been told that because I have not seen the last 10 minutes of Mother, I haven't seen Mother.
That's where it jumps off,
Yeah.
I would say.
So,
I think you should give it a go. Another go, for sure, because it is, to me, I don't want to use this word too often, but a masterpiece. I think it's an excellent way to use an allegory in an artistic way, especially through film. It's not in your face. It's there. You can see it. If you're paying attention, you can see what it's trying to say.
Yeah.
But it's just under the surface enough where it is still challenging. It makes you think. And it's a very diverse movie. I can ask 5, 6 people, and 3 of them will say they loved it. 3 of them will probably say they hated it.
I remember, and like this is without the last 10 minutes, I know that in the last 10 minutes, like shit gets crazy. But I was told that that's something really big to keep in mind. When I was watching it, though, I kept thinking, wow, this is a stage play.
Yeah, I could see that.
Like this
one
is-
set,
yeah.
one area, sure. Small cast.
Right. So for the first 90% of the film, I thought that it was so interesting that it was just
That
done
would-
so beautifully.
I'm thinking about it. That would be an ambitious play, especially how insane it gets. Like, could you imagine just a small play with 4 or 5 characters, and all of a sudden
It just...
the whole auditorium starts getting ripped to shreds? I won't say anymore, but it
What
is.
do you mean it gets ripped to shreds?
I can't say anymore. You have
Oh.
to see it.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's
Okay,
it's
that would
amazing.
make sense then.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's...
Jennifer Lawrence, I think she broke a rib. I think she broke a rib filming it.
Really?
Yeah, during
Yeah,
one
I
of
definitely
the
need to see
final
last 10
scenes.
minutes.
Yeah, I think she really gave it her all, and I really appreciate it. Anything
Great.
else to add?
No.
Number 4, Whiplash.
Oh,
Whiplash.
all about that jazz. Love jazz. I love jazz.
Do you?
I do.
I can't say I love jazz, but I appreciate it.
So when I was in college, I worked for a radio station, and we were given the award that we were the champions of jazz.
Wow.
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 Owen Wilson, I didn't know you were here.
Wow. See you, Owen.
Jake. Bye, Owen. Thanks for stopping by.
Wow.
Oh, you're back. J.K. Simmons,
Yeah, stole the show. Tour de force.
Italian Chef's Kiss.
I love to use that adjective when it comes to a strong performance, but man, you can't
Yes.
think of.
Pretty incredible.
I think one of the best of the decade, if not ever.
Wow.
I mean, for sure, he
Okay.
stole the show, brought a whole different energy, and him and
Miles Teller.
Miles Teller. I think Miles Teller holds his own.
He had to.
Hmm
Like, it was,
Yeah,
you know.
I wonder if he saw J.K. Simmons, and like he said to himself, okay, I really have to keep this energy up, because I think he did.
Yeah, I think that's.
I thought he brought it for sure.
I wonder. I'd want to see some interviews with him to see.
Yeah, definitely. So there we are. That was number 4. Number 3,
Number 3.
Hereditary.
Oh,
Yes.
Toni Collette.
Ari Aster, Toni Collette.
Oh, I love Toni Collette.
She got robbed. She got snubbed. I'll say it. The Academy snubbed her.
She's so good in everything she does.
Yeah.
I've never seen a Toni Collette movie that I haven't loved.
Yeah. No, I think she's extremely talented.
She's also great on TV.
I think if she had a stronger decade, I'd maybe give it to her instead of Tilda Swinton as my actress of the decade. But she's definitely an amazing. This performance alone was
the
a
early
standout.
part of this decade, she was doing her own TV show,
Yeah, I think I saw some of that.
United States of Terror.
Yeah, I did see some of that. I thought it was very good.
I think at least that was the timeline.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Yeah. So, I think Hereditary is absolutely terrifying.
Yeah.
I think it lives up to. It's one of the only movies that lives up to the tagline of the scariest movie since The Exorcist. I think that's an advertising ploy. It's a little played out, However, if I can think of one movie that can live up to that,
Mm-hmm.
I'm going with Hereditary because I think it stands out. I think it's something completely different.
Would you put this in elevated horror?
Elevated horror for sure, my new favorite horror subgenre, and yeah,
Right.
I stand behind that, and I think there's almost a rivalry, it seems, between Robert Eggers and Ari Aster.
You think so?
I think that these two are coming up at the same time, and I think they're gonna do a lot of great things. I think I compare. Okay, so let's compare like Hereditary and the Witch. You know, I think those two movies came out in sort of similar timelines. These are two guys with immense talent, and they're coming out. And then this year, we had The Lighthouse and we have Midsommar.
Okay.
Both sophomore efforts by the same two guys, both coming out swinging. With
Man.
two different movies,
Yeah.
you know, but still coming out hard,
Yeah.
creating some great films.
They're just kind of on the same.
Yeah,
timeline
so
of production.
yeah, so I mean, I don't know if they're aware of it, but I think the film fan community is kind of doing it.
You're gonna put them up against each other.
Yeah,
Like,
but
what a fight.
I don't care as long as they keep making great movies. But Hereditary definitely stuck with me.
Cool.
And,
what about so that was number 3?
That was number 3. Number 2.
Before you get into it, I have been like clenched this entire time
Yeah.
because there's a movie that I know that you love that hasn't been named yet that you know I do not love.
I guess we'll see. Are you ready?
I'm.
Ready for number 2?
You wouldn't put it as high.
The silver medal goes to Sicario
Okay.
by Denis Villeneuve,
Yeah.
starring Emily Blunt,
Uh-huh.
Benicio del Toro, and Josh Brolin, and a few other people.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Daniel Kaluuya?
Yes, from Get Out.
Yeah.
From Get Out fame.
This was before Get Out, right?
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. This is earlier in the decade.
Mm-hmm.
I think this movie
He was
is
so good in it.
in Get Out.
No, Sicario.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
He's
no,
just
he
a
was.
really
He was
good,
such a
solid
subtle.
supporting.
Such a subtle role. I thought Emily Blunt was great. I think Josh Brolin was great, but I think Benicio del Toro is a star of that movie for sure. He stands out, and he is he's a powerhouse in that movie for sure.
You were saying before that Emily Blunt was kind of like the audience member.
Yeah, I kind of see that when I watch the movie. I kind of see her as like almost like a conscious, like not a consciousness, but like an emotional center point where between right and wrong.
Yeah.
Where she wants to do right, but she's in a world of wolves.
Yeah.
And this is Mexican cartel. This is a high pressure type situation, life or deaths, and I think that she is pushed into this environment, and she kind of represents us, and kind of like what we would do, type situation. But Roger Deakins is amazing. Absolutely, some of the most beautiful landscape shots.
And this is when he finally won, right?
No, that was Blade Runner.
Blade Runner.
Yeah,
Sorry,
that's okay. No, that was Blade Runner.
We
But
did
I think he should have won for
he was
this.
snubbed for this one.
I think so, for sure. I think every year that he didn't win, it could have been a snug. Yeah, the fact that his first one was not until 2 years ago, Blade Runner 2049.
And John Bernthal was in Sicario as well.
Right.
He was Ted.
Yeah, smaller role.
Smaller role, but anything that he's in, just
his scene with Emily Blunt I thought was very powerful. One of the top notches or top marks of the film.
He's
for
a
sure.
great supporting actor. Like, he doesn't need to be in a film for long.
I think as a leading man, though, I think he does great. I would love to see him as in a Punisher. In the Punisher, more seasons of the Punisher, or even like its own film. Yeah, I thought that was an excellent casting. But all right, we made it. I think you know. I think you know now. Number 1, 2010.
Yeah.
Nicholas Winding Refn's Drive, starring Ryan Gosling. Yes. You hate this movie.
It's difficult for me because I feel like its fan base are art house fuckboys. And I don't want that to be you. But here we are.
Here we are. Maybe I am just an art house fuckboy, but I stand by it. I stand by it, and I will tell you why.
Yeah, tell me.
I stand by it because I think this movie kicked off the decade right. I really do. I think this movie is the anti-blockbuster. I think this movie is the anti-stupid action movie. Mm-hmm. I think a lot of people came into this movie expecting the Fast and the Furious, another dumb, bang, shoot 'em up type film. And what they got was something a little different, something had a little more heart, something that had a little more vision. I think the soundtrack is fantastic. Mm-hmm. I think the cinematography is great.
And you own the Scorpion jacket.
I do not own the Scorpion jacket, but I don't wish I did either. I could never pull it off. But no, I think Ryan Gosling is great. I think he comes off as stoic and an iconic performance, a career-making performance. And I think Nicholas Winding Refn is a little bit full of himself, especially after I've seen some interviews recently with him. However, I think this is a masterpiece. I think it's my favorite film of the decade. It's one of my favorite films of all time. 5 stars. Damn near perfect. And I stand by my decision for my best film of the decade. Any thoughts?
I still think you're an art house fuckboy.
Okay. I can deal with that.
I see your point. I see where you're coming from. It is a beautifully shot movie. It's just the culture that's formed around it. I'm like,
So you have more of a problem with the culture than the film itself?
Here's the deal. You like it because of the effect it had on the culture.
I think it's important because of the effect it had on the culture.
I think it's shitty because of its effect on the culture.
That's fine. But does that take away the integrity of the film? And from my perspective, does it add to the integrity of the film?
I think that this is like the same genre of guys that like Fight Club.
You don't like Fight Club?
I don't talk about Fight Club.
We're not allowed to talk about Fight Club.
Right.
Okay.
It just seems like there's like this sub-genre of men that are just like, well, yeah, this is really good. I really like Drive and Fight Club and Mercedes Jordan and Ryan Gosling. Like, and that's...
Maybe I don't get around, meet enough people, but I have never met any of these men. Maybe you have. I don't know.
Yeah, intimately.
Ooh.
We'll take that out.
Hey there. Mess around with a few Scorpion jacket wearing the guys, huh?
Don't want to talk.
Oh.
No, I just think that, like what you're saying is accurate. I don't think that the studios knew how to promote it.
Yeah.
Because they did promote it as a bang bang shoot 'em up.
Yeah, I think the
if
marketing
you like Fast and Furious, 3 fasters. Like it's it's
yeah.
Like that was not.
Yeah,
it was.
I think the marketing was misleading, and I think that's a gripe of mine for sure. So.
But all right.
But
maybe
that's it.
I have to revisit it then.
I think you should. I think you should. I don't want to say with a more open mind, but I think with more of a with a tunnel vision,
being less salty.
Yeah, maybe.
Salty.
But I do want to revisit this in a year.
Mm-hmm.
Especially with like Uncut Gems.
Yeah.
I think Uncut Gems is so fresh. So I would like to revisit it and see where I land like a year from now, and then we'll take it from there. Yeah. But this was fun.
It was.
We made it.
We did it.
We did it.
Go team, go.
High five.
Yay.
So hopefully you're still with us after 3 uploads, and if you want to hear more, hit that subscribe. Smash that subscribe button, boy.
Like gently caress it.
Yeah, whatever you feel like doing, and. Comment below and give us some input, and we'll.
And thank you.
And thank you for listening. Hopefully, most of these are just friends of ours so far.
But, like, you're taking time out of your day. Like,
Yeah.
a significant amount of time.
Yeah.
To just listen to us talk
Just
about
pop
movies.
these videos on YouTube and, do some dishes or something. Or,
I should do that.
Yeah. You should. Your dishes are pretty gross.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's okay. But thank you, and I hope you enjoyed this content we've created. So
We'll come up with a better sign off later. Bye.
bye.